Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, which is now known as Tree++, so all of you Powerhouse fans can just wave goodbye to that. Where today we shall be looking at something quite special, I think. Recently on Gumtree I discovered an Alienware case for £40 and managed to hassle down the seller to £30, as I intended to buy the case for a PC, which I have, which old viewers may know is a £98 PC build. Yes, I did say I upgraded it, and I was going to make a video about it, but I never got to that point as I got so broke dealing about bikes and other things that I actually had no peripherals to even use it. Peripherals to even use it. But with a bit of improvisation and patience, I found some to spare, though I knew it was never immediately for my use or gaming use. But it worked its purpose for the use that I needed it for, and that use was to set up the PC I was going to build. I never actually anticipated how good the case was for the money, as it not only came with a motherboard and components and all that jazz, but also RGB lights and the fan controller, RGB lights and a controller, which was, something I've never actually encountered a PC, something my poor ass has never seen, and a tempered glass side panel on the case, which, is obvious, but I never knew it came paired with RGB, which is great. As you can see here, the PC does actually turn on, and inside the PC we have an AMD Sempron 3000 Plus single core processor and 1.5GB of DDR RAM on an MSI MS7181 socket 754 motherboard. To add to this, I got a 460 watt power supply of arguable quality, an IDE disk drive, and 80GB max store hard drive, which is nothing too special and definitely not to modern standards in terms of performance, but I'm glad to see it working. I decided not to go further with trying to benchmark it or get it to an operating system, as I simply couldn't be asked, and it wouldn't even make sense to compare it in performance to the upgraded PC it was going to become. Talking of upgrades, this PC would soon become a socket 1150 based system with Intel i5-4440 quad-core processor, which still works very well these days in budget gaming systems and can hold its own against modern games when paired with graphics cards of similar caliber, and was definitely worth the price, as I only bought it for £20 off of Gumtree, which is a fantastic deal. I've been using that word so much recently. This would be on the aforementioned socket 1150 board on which is a Gigabyte P85-D3 Crossfire motherboard, which I also bought for £20, and in the PCI slot would be sat an MSI Afterburner GTX 770 2GB, which I bought for £50, and to my experience overclocks really well with MSI Afterburner, which is a bonus. I'd also be throwing in 12GB of fairly generic DDR3 RAM clocked at 1333 MHz, which is an arguably slow clock. Which is an arguably slow clock. Goddamn. Which is an arguably slow clock, but also doesn't affect performance too greatly, and I can't really fault it here as it was only bought for £10. Storage wise, I will be adding a 240GB PNY CS900 SSD, which I got off eBay for £20, and a 1TB Seagate hard drive for obvious storage reasons, which I got for free. Cool. For other features, For other features, I also added a Blu-ray disc drive, which I got for free, and the standard disc drive, which I also got for free. This is all powered by a Cooler Master 500 watt power supply, which has done a surprisingly good job at powering the system beforehand and only cost me £15. Altogether with the case, the PC cost me £165, which is very cheap for the performance this PC will give me, and also the looks. First off, I cleared out all the components and gave the PC a shower, which is completely safe. Now came the task of actually putting the PC together, which starts off with the motherboard, which just drops right into the case and only requires a few pins to pin it down. No, a few screws to pin it down, sorry. Next up comes the RAM, which also just drops right into the DIMMs, but for efficiency, one would put each stick into alternate slots, thus making dual channel RAM. Next, I dropped in the power supply, which is held by four screws at the back, and I threaded all the cables around the back in preparation for the wiring and all the other things to come into the case. Talking of wires, Before I proceeded with anything else, I took the liberty of wiring up the front panel headers to the motherboard, which is easily pretty frustrating and a complicated task if you don't know what you're doing, but can be easily rectified using the motherboard's online manual. Then I dropped in the hard drive and the SSD, which at the time of filming I didn't have, hence why you see a second hard drive being put in, but it was later removed and it was not needed. These are screwed in at the sides of the drive bays. The fan on the side panel was powered by Molex, and not only was it dirty but also quite boring, so I found a similar fan with blue LEDs on the rim, which lights it up very nicely and allows it to fit in with the blue Alienware color scheme. Before I dropped the beefy graphics card in, I wired up all the drives, motherboard components, all that jazz, and did a bit of cable sorting around the back, which is actually called cable management, which I can't be asked to say because I'm lazy, around the back in preparation for it to enter the system. After this, I dropped the graphics card and the build was complete, finally, except it wasn't. The system powered on, and after a few seconds powered back off and on again. It never posted. Immediately I thought it was a power issue, so I removed the graphics card. Nothing still. Removed the hard drives, disk drives, fans, and from power nothing changed. So what the hell is going on? After removing 3 RAM sticks and turning on, it finally turned on and posted, which is great. And all I had to do was replace all the components and it turned on with each component except the graphics card. Damn, so maybe it was a power issue. Just to be sure, I reset the CMOS by removing the battery, and voila, it worked. That was until I booted to the OS and realized I needed to reseat the graphics card as it was falling out, which is totally logical, except for when I turned it off, I didn't actually unplug the machine, meaning power was still running through it. So I pulled out the graphics card and I killed the computer. Again. Yay! So I dropped the card back in, and after a few failed boot attempts, I reset the CMOS again, and it worked. And from that moment, I vowed to never remove the card without reason again. Okay, bros, so we finally got the computer set up. It's right there, along with my mess in my room. God damn, it was a saga, honestly. Trying to source all these parts really did take me. Oh shit, focus. Really did take me quite a while. And I'm glad at how the computer's finally turning out, and just all I need to do is clean it up, set it up, and then I can throw it on Gumtree for sale again. So our boot problem is solved. Yeah, I installed the operating system and the PC is fully operational, or is it? I'm still worried about the power issues thanks to the events I went through with the PC earlier, and this is what the stress test will reveal. So it works for now, but will it later? That's all the time I have for today, and I'll bring you later the benchmark and conclusion video soon. Bye bye.